Welcome to Breaking Stereotypes. I'm your host, Kristy Ramnarine. We continue our discussion about perimenopause and menopause, and today we're going to deal with diet. Joining me on set is dietitian with a special interest in menopause, Lisa Feveck.
I am so happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us on Breaking Stereotypes.
Of course, I watch your show all the time, so I mean to be on this side of the camera now. A little intimidating, I'm trying not to watch this direction, but I'm really happy to be here.
I'm really happy that you're here with us. You know, Lisa, I'm going to start with your journey, your personal journey in terms of peri and menopause.
Yeah, and I like that you use the word journey.
Yeah.
Because that's the word I use, a menopausal journey. Mine started in my 30s, and I use the word journey because there's a starting point when we start experiencing those symptoms. And there's an end point because we're in menopause until we die.
Yeah.
Right? So there's an end. But the experiences we have on that journey is different for everyone. So let's say we go on a road trip and we have the same start point, the same end point. But, you know, when we reach hot flashes, stop, we will experience it differently. And when we go to mood swings or joint pain or whatever it is, we may be seeing the same spots, but our experience is different. And my passion, my calling, my purpose is really to make women's journey better, more joy, less pain, and give them back that quality of life.
Okay. Now, you said you started this journey in your 30s. You know, usually you hear, I've heard my doctor, Dr. Shireen Kalu, said there are cases from as early as 35, but usually it's from the age of 40. How old were you?
I started noticing symptoms around age 33. Around that time, I didn't start with hot flashes. I'm only now getting those hot flashes, which is why I didn't hear the word menopause when I went to the many doctors I went to.
Yeah.
So I started with a toothache that would just come and go, hair loss, and then it progressed to like anxiety, digestive issues, a lot of bloating, weight gain, and then heart palpitations. And for me, it was a blessing in disguise because it helped me realize why I always had healthcare problems. So when they looked at the digestive issues, they said, okay, nothing is wrong, but by the way, your stomach is inverted. I was like, you mean my stomach upside down? And they say, yeah, you know, it's upside down. That's why I get in these things. Okay. And then I did the checks and they say, okay, everything is normal, but by the way, your womb is inverted. And I'm finding all of this from age 35.
So your stomach and womb were inverted?
Yeah, and when the cardiologist tried to put the machine on me to check why I was having the palpitations, you know, he kept checking on the left side and it's like he's not finding what he's supposed to be hearing. And then he switched to the right side and it's like, oh, yeah, your heart is actually more on the right. So it's like, you know, when God finished making me, somebody passed with a swizzle stick. So I have 1.5 lungs and, you know, it's just craziness in there. But it's because of menopause that I found out these things. Now, I wish I had found out earlier because it would explain why it's so hard for me to lose weight. And every time I lose some pounds and in menopause rears its head, I gain back a set of weight. And, you know, every time I take different medications, that affects me and stuff like that. But it really makes me more empathetic to what women go through. Because everyone has a different journey. You have different health conditions. Menopause causes, you know, uncontrolled blood sugars and pressure, and all of a sudden you're on all these medications. But by the 10th medication and the 10th prescription I got, I was like, okay, nah. Yes, I have stress. Yes, I have all these things, but something else is going on. So I went back into research. I was doing my MPhil in UWI at the time, and piece by piece, I realized, okay, I'm actually in perimenopause. But the research I was finding was on white populations, mostly out of the UK. So I had to sort of figure out things on my own and piece together different things for my Caribbean outlook to figure out what works for me. And that is how I got into this. Found out there were over 100 symptoms. There's about 120 symptoms. A lot of us don't start with hot flashes, which is why it's so difficult to diagnose. But when I found out that suicidal thoughts was one of them, that was when I said, okay, nah, I need to make this my full-time job and talk about this as much as I could, because all of us will go through menopause, whether we deny it or not. And our clients are saying, no, I'm not there yet. But if suicidal thoughts is one of the symptoms, then we need to have more of these conversations. So women know, okay, you're not alone and you're not going crazy. No matter what the doctor says, no matter what the test says, no, this is just hormones and a natural progression, but there are things you could do to get back your quality of life.
Okay. Now, yes, we're talking about menopause, but your story about your womb and your stomach, it's just so interesting.
Yeah.
What are the side effects of having an inverted womb and an inverted stomach?
So I couldn't have children. Didn't realize that because, again, I didn't know this. So, you know, you're trying and you're thinking about it, but it just never happened. And with these stomach issues, so I might tell people to lower their salt intake. But for me, sometimes I have to increase my salt intake.
Right.
I get a lot of nausea. Sometimes my blood pressure drops really low. So my whole system is sort of out of whack. And menopause is not helping, right? It's just making things worse. And sometimes I just have to like laugh and give myself that love. And it's like, it's not my fault. This is just me. This is my
very
story.
Special.
God made me special.
Very special.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm able to bring that joy to my clients. And it's like, listen, life will throw you crap sometimes. That is life. That's your journey. This chapter is a little rough. Let's take the lessons we learn and move to the next chapter.
Of course. And in taking those lessons and moving on, now you are fully focused on menopause and researching menopause and helping your clients. As a dietitian, what is your first, advice to women who are going through this transition in their lives?
So I heard Dr. Watson, because I watch your shows. Dr. Watson talked about the Mediterranean diet, which is correct. But she talked about having to eat grass and buy expensive salmon. I was like, okay, that's one route. But we could still have joy while we're eating. But the foundation is going more plant-based. And that is why the Mediterranean diet and diets like that work, because it's plant-focused. So when I say plant-focused, I don't mean you have to give up meat. But, in Trinidad, we put meat on the plate first and then look for stuff to go with the meat. I'm saying just change your mindset, change the way you approach food, and get excited about vegetables. Season your vegetables the same way you season your meat. So put vegetables on your plate first, focus on things like your fruits, your vegetables, peas, beans, nuts, seeds, and your whole grain foods, which also includes our provisions. Focus on those first. Make sure you're eating enough of those first. And then after, if you choose to eat meat, I would say focus on fish or chicken. Because for menopause, as soon as we enter into that journey, our risk for heart disease shoots up and goes up higher than a man's risk. So before going into menopause, a man's risk is higher for cardiovascular disease, is what I should say. Cardio being heart, vascular meaning blood vessels, so strokes, heart attacks, things like that. As soon as we enter into our menopausal journey, and I'm calling the whole thing perimenopause, menopause as a menopausal journey, our risk for heart disease shoots up. And then our genetics can do that as well, can add a layer. So women of East Indian descent have a predisposition for getting uncontrolled blood sugars, leading to diabetes. Women of African descent have a predisposition to uncontrolled blood pressures, leading to hypertension. Those are both risk factors for heart disease.
Now, as you're talking about Indian and African, we have a huge mixed up population in this country. And we were having the discussion before about the lack of statistics when it comes to the mixed population.
I am mixed with about 8 different ethnicities myself. So how does menopause affect people like me? Is it pulling on the East Indian side? Is it pulling on the white side? What is it doing, right? We don't have that data yet. Yes, the UK is really leading the way in research, and we're thankful for that because it's giving us answers. But when we're talking Caribbean populations, most of us are mixed. So how is it really affecting us? We don't have those answers. But we know for sure that women of color experience things like hot flashes more frequently and more intensely.
Okay.
And that raises the risk for heart disease as well. So you have your genetics playing a role, menopause raising your risk for heart disease, and then what I tell my clients is, okay, those factors you can't change, but it puts the light switch for heart disease in your body. Lifestyle will turn it on. So let's do as much as we can to change your lifestyle factors so that we don't turn on that switch. And diet is the foundation for that.
Yeah.
Right, so when since we're talking about heart disease, you want to lower your saturated fat. So lower the amount of red meat eaten every day. It's not that you can't eat it, but the things we do consistently is what is going to turn those switches on. So going more plant-based is the ideal thing for everyone, no matter what stage you're at, no matter your genetics, whatever it is. Going more plant-based is the answer. And I mean, there's simple things you could do. So cooked tomatoes. So that's like pasta sauce or tomato chuka.
Yeah.
That lowers risk in men for prostate cancer, but for women it helps with menopause as well.
I was actually going to ask you about growing up in an Indian household, obviously. I know about chuka. Mm-hmm. So if it wasn't baigan chuka, it was tomato chuka.
Yeah.
You might have some fried aloo,
Yeah.
something called jingi. I don't know what the correct thing is,
Yeah.
but this long...
Yes.
What else? There were different types of chuka every day on the table. But then it was paired with sada roti, which now you're hearing is not too good for you when it comes to the blood sugar.
Yeah, so I don't use the word good or bad when it comes to food, because that sets up a lot of disordered eating, a lot of guilt for when we trying different foods.
Yeah.
What I look at is where you're on your journey and where do you want to go. So if blood sugar is your issue, then you want to reduce the foods that will raise your blood sugar or add more fiber. So the reason why we say go more plant-based is because we want more fiber.
Yeah.
And the fiber helps with lowering blood sugars and things like that. But a lot of the news now is talking about gut microbiome and gut bacteria. The fiber is actually to feed your bacteria. And that actually lowers things like anxiety, depression, the mood swings.
Okay.
So going more plant-based helps with a myriad of different symptoms. So if you're talking sada, okay, yes, I could not eat sada, but sada is joy, right? Why we want to give up sada?
So even when it comes to the chuka and the preparation, because, my mom, she would usually put the tomatoes over the fire, roast it, mash it, and then, she would burn her garlic in the oil and chunkate the butter, as they say. And most of the dishes, of course, you fry whatever vegetable with the oil. Is the oil okay to be used for preparing these
maybe
dishes?
use less oil. Maybe pair the tomato chuka with another dish, maybe a fresh salad you're having as well. Maybe with the sada, you add things like ground flaxseed to increase the fiber, or you grate some carrots or some pumpkin into the flour. The same thing with rice. Parboiled rice is everywhere. Yes, they say to buy brown rice, but the brand of rice that we find is very expensive. I know we have some local varieties growing now, and that's great. But does everyone have access to it? So if brown rice is expensive and we only have parboiled rice, then do okra rice, bhaji rice, pumpkin rice.
Well, now you're talking about my mother-in-law. Yeah, because she would, that's what she would actually do. She would mix the okra in the rice, mix the dashing bush in the rice.
Yeah.
And her way of preparing tomato chuka is quite different from my mother.
Yeah.
So what she does is she mashes her tomatoes and mixes it with shadabeni.
Okay.
And you have this nice salsa flavor to it.
Salsa is really good,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say just because the amount of oil we eat traditionally is a lot, look for ways to reduce the oil, but you could still have your traditional foods. Always, every time you make a dish, ask yourself, can I add more fiber to the dish? So you're making macaroni pie. Can I add more fiber? I could add lentils.
Okay.
I could grate vegetables.
Carrots, a lot of people would do it with
Exactly.
carrots. Yeah.
And things like that, you could melt it away where children don't see it too much, so the family could enjoy it. You could try less cheese. You could mix mozzarella cheese, which is a lower fat cheese, with our local cheddar. So the cheddar is really for the color at the top. So you can mix in the mozzarella cheese for that binding, right? So there are ways we could reduce the fat, reduce the salt, and still enjoy our foods. But again, the more plant-based we go, that's where you want to go. So you're making pilau, add more beans, add veggies to it. You don't like veggies in your rice? Okay, make sure you have veggies on the side.
Yeah.
You don't like fresh salad or raw salad? Roast it. Roasted vegetables have a totally different flavor profile. It actually brings out the sweetness. So every time you're making stew chicken, curry chicken.
Roasting karaili brings out that flavor, though.
Well, karaili is a special vegetable. Maybe let's move away from the other vegetables.
I actually,
really
one of
good.
my sons, one of the twins, they eat raw karaili. And it's very...
I admire him.
shocking. Yeah.
But karaili has been known and is studied now to lower blood sugar. So we get in a lot of karaili pills now.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, so we get in that. So karaili is really good, especially for diabetics. Not everybody likes it. So I wouldn't force anybody to like it. And as we're talking about that, the fruits and vegetables, eat your colors. That is the easiest thing to do. There's a reason why we have 5 colors. You have red and pink, that's one group. Blue and purple is another group. Green, yellow and orange is the same group. And then you have white and brown. So that's like your onions, your garlic, your cauliflower. Why eat your colors? Those colors have specific vitamins and minerals in them that are different to the others. So if you cover all 5 colors, you're getting the vitamins and minerals, and you don't necessarily need like supplements. And then if your children don't like pumpkin, you could give them carrots, because it's the same type of vegetable. So we don't need to force people or force ourselves to eat something that we don't like. Just find something in the color group that you like, and then go on the university or YouTube, as I call it, and find recipes. Encourage your children to go in the supermarket, pick something that's new to them. Go on YouTube, find a recipe, get them involved in it, so that the family know, and I see you laughing, get the family involved.
They would look at it and go, yuck.
But if they cook it, they're quicker to eat it. So let them find the recipe.
They actually like pumpkin, and they'll take the roti and dip and eat the pumpkin.
Place to start, yeah.
But the twins are very hilarious, because I grew up eating roti with hand. They pick up a knife and a fork to eat. I didn't teach this to them. They didn't see me doing it.
This TikTok generation, a little different to us. But I am happy if they're eating local foods. To me, that's the win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So focusing on those plant-based foods, and then we could do other things like a simple thing, drinking green tea in the morning. So a lot of...
Without milk and sugar.
Yeah. So the green tea helps with regeneration of like stem cells and lowering cancer risk. So it's a good thing to drink first thing, especially our culture, we like to drink something hot. Personally, I wouldn't start with the coffee, because that raises cortisol more. Cortisol is your stress hormone, which is high in the morning. It's supposed to be high, because that's the hormone that wakes us up, that sends the signal, hey, wake up now, time to go. But for some people, if we drink coffee, then it raises it too high and it stresses us out. And if cortisol is high, then our digestive system doesn't work as well, because cortisol is this flight or fright hormone. So it's getting ready for us to run or do something. It's not really thinking, okay, we're going to eat now.
Yeah.
So I would say drink a cup of green tea in the morning and move your coffee, or your first cup of coffee, for like 10 a.m. and use that as your mental health break. Go outside, take in some sunlight, because vitamin D is important. Have your coffee, watch the clouds, take in the fresh air, and use that as your mental health break if you can. So going more plant-based, having foods that are traditional to us, very healthy, but we just have to change the way we cook them a little bit to reduce the salt and the oil, and then having more things like green tea, dark chocolate is a good one as well. Pomegranates are a good one as well, because these help with gut bacteria, give your body the fiber it needs, the vitamins, the minerals, everything. And those foods, if you eat them consistently, the reduction in those menopausal symptoms, especially the emotional side, the anxiety, the mood swings, the depression, those start to decrease.
Okay. Now, Lisa, how do you deal with your clients in terms of course, every person is different. Their menopause symptoms would be different. Their age would be different. Their health implications would be different. How do you deal with all these differences?
Yeah, so it has to be a personalized basis. So yes, I can have a webinar and talk to everyone. I can go into organizations and talk to staff or supervisors to bring that awareness. But when it comes to my clients, it has to be a one-on-one, because your story and your journey is different. So where you are right now, are you having uncontrolled blood sugars? Are you having uncontrolled blood pressures? Are you having mood swings? Are you having headaches? Depending on your symptoms, I have to adjust what I propose we do. And for me, it always starts with your mindset. Where your mind goes and what we focus on multiplies. So if you are focused on the negative, and it's not that I'm discounting people's emotions or what they're going through, because I know personal experience, I know it's challenging. Right now, I'm dealing with all this weight gain that came up that I just lost the other day, right? Because of my health condition, my story. So you have to give yourself love, you have to give yourself that grace. But okay, where are we right now? And what are we wanting to achieve? Because what I think you should do may not be what you think you should do or what you want for your life. So we work together to figure out, okay, where are we right now? What are the mindset techniques we're going to use when things get hard? So I have clients that sometimes call 11 o'clock at night. Something triggered them. They had an argument with their partner or something happened at work and they want to drown themselves in a bucket of ice cream. Okay, let's talk through it. Let's try different techniques to see if we could calm ourselves down, because eating the ice cream may feel good in the moment, but remember, we've raised our stress levels. We're going to store all of that as fat. So let's talk about the different things we can do. So when clients come to me, and especially with the emotional aspects, hard day at work and they're non-negotiable, the thing they're not going to give up is their pack of potato chips. Okay, no problem. That's what, is that your non-negotiable as well?
No, Coca-Cola.
Okay, so let's find a way to incorporate 1 cup of Coca-Cola in your day, because that is what brings you joy right now. We must start where we are. Yes, we may say Coca-Cola not healthy, and okay, right. But if that Coca-Cola is going to help you not to go home and kill people home, I personally prefer the less murdery route. Have your Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
But let's see what other changes we could make to incorporate that Coca-Cola.
So I was never a coffee drinker. I do have a cup of Lipton every morning.
Okay.
It's like routine. Can't have it any other time of the day.
Right, okay.
Has to be in the morning. But of course, when I'm having lunch, must have that Coca-Cola.
So if you were my client, I would say, okay, Coca-Cola is not something you're ready to give up right now. It doesn't make sense me saying Coca-Cola not healthy, don't have it. Because guess what? When you're stressed, the first thing you're going to run to is the Coca-Cola. And instead of drinking a cup, you're probably going to drink a whole 20 ounce. That doesn't serve your health journey. So what we're going to do is, okay, Coca-Cola, we're going to leave that at the side right now. What foods are you willing to eat to help with your health journey? Can we have more fruits and vegetables in your diet? And it's the same thing with like red meat. Red meat's not healthy. Okay, some people just not ready to give up meat yet. What can we do right now? What are you willing to try? What are you willing to have? We must have a starting point. No meat Mondays. We may be willing to start there.
Yeah.
And when I work with clients, instead of fighting against what they naturally go to, because it's a habit. The habit has to break. It takes time. When I work with clients, I say, okay, we just shift that for now. What can we focus on? And usually they're like, listen, I went a week and didn't have meat. And I didn't die.
Yeah.
I feel good.
You know, it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? When I grew up, meat was something you only had on a weekend.
Same.
During the week,
Yeah.
yeah, it was some vegetable. You know, I grew up in Tabaquite,
Yeah.
farming community, a lot of vegetation. Some neighbor was always dropping off something
Yeah.
home
Yeah.
if my parents didn't have it themselves in the backyard. And you had that, either it would have been split peas, lentils,
Yep.
rice, and that vegetable. There was no meat during the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I grew up south too, so I had
Yeah.
the same experience. But yeah, a lot of things have changed.
Yeah.
A lot of fast foods, people are working now, people are more tired. So we have to work with, okay, where are we right now? What do you have access to? What can you afford? Because it doesn't make sense me saying, go organic.
Yeah.
Organic is the best, go organic. But your store doesn't have anything organic. So what is the point?
Yeah.
But we all have some sort of fruit and vegetable that we could get access to. So maybe just start there. Maybe drink an extra glass of water. When you're having your Coke, start with an extra glass of water first. Maybe that encourages you to drink half the glass instead of a whole glass of Coke.
Yeah.
Right? There are always some little thing we could start with because it's about building habits that stick. It must stick. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And what is the point? And we must have joy in our lives. We're here for a short time. You know, this is our journey, and this is our second act, as they call it. Let's bring as much joy as we can into our life and get rid of the pain that we feel and all of those things so that our quality of life improves.
Lisa, how many of your clients are actually going through this menopause transition? The majority?
Well, most of my clients are people in perimenopause or menopause. I do have a couple men that are actually going through andropause. So there is something called male menopause, right? So I have a couple men, and I do have a couple clients with, well, I deal with women's health issues, so diabetes, those sort of things. But most of my clients, like I said, when I went through this journey and I didn't get the help I thought I should have gotten and the answers, I switched my whole thing, and I woke up one morning and I have a tattoo on my arm called freedom. This word is my mantra, because you can't have freedom from menopause if you don't have the awareness, if you don't have the education. If you don't know what you're going through, then how can you help yourself?
And you also made another valid point before the interview started, the fact that we all have to go through this.
Yep.
We are in an aging population, high percentage of women in the population, and it's not going to pass anybody.
Nope. Whether we deny it or not.
Yeah.
You may not have debilitating symptoms, thank God for that. But usually when I talk to women, I go through the 120 symptoms. They're like, oh, no, I actually had this. And we end up with like 40 or 50 symptoms that they didn't realize was menopause. And you see the sadness on their face. It's like, oh, I'm in menopause.
Yeah.
But then you see the light bulb. It's like, oh.
That's what it was.
That is what, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I have an answer for what I was going through.
Yeah.
And that gives them peace and clarity, and they're ready to move on from there.
Yeah. And in terms of your personal journey, how have you been balancing, you know, what you do as a dietitian and your own personal struggles when it comes to your health and menopause?
So I have to practice what I preach. I have to eat my own cooking, as they say, right? Because, again, what is going to work for me? Foundation, plant-based foods. Foundation, having a positive mindset. Because if when you first called me to be on the show, I had two minds about it. Because as a dietitian, you're expected to look a certain way, only eat salad, and be the food police, right? Nobody wants to be around a dietitian because they feel they'll get judged. But my journey, I hope people see that I am walking the walk and walking with them.
Yeah.
I'm on my own journey. I have my own struggles. So when you come to me and you tell me all of your symptoms and the struggles and the people who don't support you or believe you, I'm there with you because I've been through it. So I get it. And it's just, you have to stay positive. You have to be mindful of how you talk to yourself. Because again, the more negative you go, you start to experience those symptoms in a negative way. So you have to keep positive. Yes, there are times I'm going to feel tired, feel bad, but the next day, this tattoo, freedom, this is the people I'm speaking for.
Definitely. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us on Breaking Stereotypes and sharing your story and, giving some much needed advice to those women out there who are on their perimenopause and menopause journey.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I applaud the work that you're doing. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's it for Breaking Stereotypes. I'm your host, Kristy Ramnarine.